Okay, it's on.
This
Yeah,
happened. This happened to Edward a few weeks ago. I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait.
So.
Yeah, so this is my code. Just import calendar, print that. That is just for aesthetics.
All right.
Print calendar, and whatever year you want. So like, let's say 2020. And you get this. Or you
that's nice.
print, let's say, the year of, I don't know, 1945. Boom, 1945.
Okay.
I think you can honestly check if it's right.
Okay. I think I've mentioned it kind of clearly last time that I don't want you guys to use the already pre-existing code, so the calendar library. I said that you can only use it for to get the first day of the year. So what day January 1st is on. That's about the only thing that I want you guys to use, because in the end, you're not like the calendar thing. Yes, it's fast, it's simple, but that's not the purpose of this project. The purpose is to let you combine everything you've learned all the way to this point. So for the past 6 lessons, and combine them together and make something of your own, like not just use the built-in library. And I saw many people, that's what they end up doing with using the calendar. It's fine. Like knowing how to use external libraries or built-in libraries, those are also important, but just, yeah, that was not what I was expecting. So is there anybody that did not use the built-in library, so the calendar library? Oh yeah, you said this is yours. Let's see. Okay, which one should I be looking at, Jonathan? This one or this one?
One of them is mine and the other is my brother's.
Okay.
I guess I'll just share my screen and explain.
Sure, that's probably the easiest way. Okay, I see what you're doing. Yeah, it's pretty great. That's about what I was hoping for you guys to do. And
Wait, I couldn't see his screen.
oh, he's not sharing? All right, I'll just share it on my side. Okay, let's look at what Jonathan did. So basically, he did what I was like kind of explained a little bit, give you guys a little hint, and he made that into the actual code. So he has list of all the months, right? Because printing out the first. All right. Okay. That's fine. So what he did is, while printing out the first year, that's fairly straightforward, right? You just print a single line of the year, and then he looped through all 12 months. And within each month, he first print out the month and then print out the title for the weeks, the day of the weeks. And then he looped through, he print out each day. And then he decided, okay, if my month is January, I have 31 days. He did 32. I think that's because he's using less, so less than 32. And yeah, that's good. Where is your code to get a start date? So the day of January 1st, where did you get that one?
First, it says it for a month in range of 0 to 12. You Wait, sorry, I didn't understand your question.
So in which part of your code? Oh, okay, here it is. Okay, date, time. Okay, you get what, right. Okay, that seems pretty good. And this one is your brother's, I assume?
This is mine.
All right.
I can share my screen and then explain it.
Okay, if you want to do that.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So I started out by writing the code. So I started with this line. So year equals input, enter year, and then they enter their year in a new line. So it creates a year based on the user input. So let's just say like I run this and let's just say I input like 2020, then it will create a calendar for the year 2020 and we'll say calendar for year 2020 here. Oh no,
Right.
Sorry, that's the wrong one. I scrolled a bit too high. Yeah, right here. Yeah,
Mhm.
so that, and then you print with nothing in there. That just prints an enter, like a new line, and then calendar underscore str equals calendar for year. So that is the input year that the user input. So that's plus year at the end. So it will say calendar for year and then whatever the user inputted at the top. And then after I use the center function, it's built in. And then just to print 30 spaces in front of this, so it centers well, so it looks nice. And then yeah, so that's that. And then after I just wrote all the months for the calendar and all the days. And then I have to turn the days into a string because I have to make it like this because right now it's just an int. So yeah, I changed that there. And I had to import the date time like up top. I imported this this library just to get the start day. That's all I used it for. I didn't use it anywhere else in the code. And yeah, this is where I get it, like right here. This is the return the start day of the week. And so this is how you use the function. just the year, the month, the day, and then this is at 12. This is at midnight. So just so there's no confusion, if it's midnight, it doesn't. It's at 12.
Start.
Doesn't really know when it is. Sorry.
It's a start day of week, so you use it many times.
No. This I shouldn't really know what to name it. That's just the start, like for the year, for any given year, that it just calculates the start day. That's
Oh,
just
all right.
just
So
the library.
January 1st.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's good.
That's just what the library does. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I tried to figure it out by myself, like without importing the library. I had it right here. Like I looked at like a Waterloo article and I tried to calculate it just by using this equation, like this one right here, like on line 104.
Mhm.
But for some reason, it says it like in this it says I think it said Sunday Sunday was 1, but I kept on returning wrong values. So I mean, I tried really hard, but it just didn't work. So I just
All
went
right.
back to the library.
Some good effort.
Yeah, so that worked consistently because like in this, it just didn't work. So yeah,
Mhm.
I ditched that. And so um next I decided to define leap year. So this is just if it gets divisible by 4, it checks if the year is also divisible by 100. Because even if the year is divisible by 100, it's not a leap year. It's only a leap year if it's also divisible by 400. So an example would be 2,100. That's not a leap year.
Mhm.
So that's why 2,400. That's a leap year. So hence these true false values.
Mhm.
And yeah, so yeah, this is the defined first day of calendar. So do parameters year and month. So the year is just user input, and then the month, as we can see, like if I go down here, counter equals 1, and then the 4 month in months, the counter adds 1 each time. So it's pretty much just gives every month a number. So January 1, February 2, and then all the way to December, which is 12.
Mhm.
And so yeah, that's why here it can correctly calculate the start day of every month because there's a number for it.
Wait
Yeah.
a second.
Yes.
You're calculating every single time before it starts?
I'm sorry, my bad. I couldn't hear. I was a bit.
So you're calculating the start day of the month every single time?
Oh no. I think the library can automatically do that for you. Like if you just add the counter, then it can just do that for every month. Like it just does that automatically for you. Like
But
sorry.
my question is from line about 49 all the way to 62. What is
Uh,
that for? Like this whole chunk? If else, if else.
if start date. Oh yes. Okay. So this yeah. So this is actually pretty important. So what this means, so let's just look at the bottom first. Else if start day of week equals 6, so when the day is equal to 6, so I defined x up here. X is just one blank space. So
Oh,
it
I see.
print one blank space here. Like let me try and find an example. Yes, this. You'll just print one blank space and then the 1. Because the first day is Sunday, which is 6, and then it prints one space. So if day of week is 0, and 0 is Monday, Tuesday is 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then Sunday is 6. So when it's Monday, it prints 5 spaces and then the 1, so it's like just centered. And then so pretty much these like 5 times x, 9 times x, 13 times x, it just makes sure that the day is like under this the number is under the correct day and centered correctly.
Right, okay. I see. That's pretty great.
Yeah. And then my main function, like I mean there's not really main in Python, but my main function, let me try and find it. Okay, what uh, yeah. Anyways, this line 75 to line 89, this is just for k in range 1 to 6. K in range 1 to 6. That's just mean like so K would be the weeks of a given month. So the reason why it's 1 to 6 is because let's just say the first day of the week was on what day would it be on? It would be on Saturday, and then the next would have to go to Sunday. So worst case scenario, if there's just one over here, like 1 on Saturday, and then there'd be 8 on the next, 15, 22, and 29. So that's only 5. That's 5 numbers. So if I only did range 1 to 5, and there was 1 on Saturday, it would just cut. Like if I needed 30, 31, then it would just cut them because there's not enough weeks. It's only 1 to 5. So that's why it's 6 numbers, even though 6 times 7 is 42. Like that doesn't really seem to make sense. But if there's a 1 here, that's you need, even if you need only 2 more numbers, that's why the range is 6, because it still it helps you keep those 2 numbers. And then so J in range Y to Y plus 7, that's just the days in the week. And then yeah, so it breaks if it's end day. Yeah, so I can go and find this in my code. End day of month. Yeah, I can go and find the function here. Yes, define end day of month right here. Yeah, so this is when this is how the code determines when to end, like when to stop printing days for a month. So for all the months 1, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, and 12, those are all the months with 31 days. February, its end date is 28, but if it's a leap year, so the function up here, if it's a leap year, it uses this function and determines if it's true, then it'll just print 29 days, and then it'll return 29. Otherwise, it'll just do 28 days. And for every other month, it's just 30 days, so you can just write else, and then 30 days. So yeah, that uses the function up top to break. And so when it's at the right amount, it will just stop printing, and break just does that for you. And yeah, so this makes into a string, because otherwise it'd be an int, and then we're gonna compile error, and it'll say you can't do string to int. So that's what this line is for.
Will you put in a file? Huh?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess I can explain that right here. So this part is a bit redundant. I could have definitely made this better, but so define my print s. So this part writes this program into a file. So an example, like I can show you first before I explain. So let's just say we entered the year 20. Actually, I already have tested that. So 2,800, and it will print this. And then I go to Finder, and I'll be able to find it right here. And we can open this. Yeah, actually, we don't have to open it here. We can open it here. Open. So yeah, we can open it here, and then it prints this calendar into a file. So the way we do that is we need a global variable, so global file name, and then this is how you open the file, and then this is how we write things into the file, and this s is from my print, and then we also have to close the file, and then we print everything. So the reason why this works is because in the code, you might have noticed a lot of my prints where there should be print, and pretty much it says print s every time there's in my print. So every time it prints something, it just prints it into the file. But the reason why this could be better is because every time you have to open and close it, you could easily make this not like that. But I mean, I was just too lazy. And
Yep.
yeah, pretty much it, honestly. Like, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think.
That's really great. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Do we have someone else wants to show their code, or are we moving on? And I'll show you guys how I did it. So anybody else? No? All right. We just saw how. Okay, yeah, sure, go ahead. Just share your screen. Currently your screen is black on my monitor.
All right. So first, what it does, it imports the library date time, where all the code is like already there to calculate when the first day is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then for the code, first it wants you to input a year. So it's year equals input, and then it asks you to enter a year, and you add a space so that it's more clear of what year you entered.
Mm-hmm.
And then what you do is you like define the months in the year. So like months are January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So then it will print all of those months in a for loop for when month is in range of 0 to 12. So we'll print all the months, and then I will just print everything into a file. So that's for the global thing. After that, yeah. So then day of week is equal to. So first I defined a function here. So it's called day of week. So day of week is basically like the weekdays and the weekends of the week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Mm-hmm.
Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like basically like the day of week is like, let's just say like Sunday, like it's one, like in the day of week. So like if I remove this comment over here, then it will show you the number of the day of week. Like Sunday is 1, and Tuesday is 2, and Thursday is, and Wednesday is 3, and and um and Friday is like 5, and Saturday is 6, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
let me see if I can run this. So let's just say enter years here. Sorry, I don't know what's happening.
Don't worry. Take your time.
Oh yeah, okay. So as you can see here, like it starts on Tuesday, and it defines it as, I might have said, I don't know if I said it wrong or not, but it says that it's 2. And it defines Sunday as 7, and Tuesday as 2 again, and Saturday as 6. And yeah, it's basically. But I don't think I really needed that too much. I just need to make sure that it worked, to make sure that the code worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I have some debug printouts in your code is very important. Just remember to comp them off when it's going to production or when you are in the final version. When you know for sure that you don't need it, then you can either comment it off or you can just delete it. Either way.
Yes, okay. Yes, and after that, so first you do not want the days of the week to start at the very you don't want it to start like over here. So I added a bunch of spaces str dates so that it would add a bunch of spaces, so that it would just like look better, because it would, in my opinion, would look way worse if it was at the start of the terminal.
Yep. Okay.
And then after that we add the spaces. So let's just say first when spaces in range of 1 to 1 plus day of week. So like when day of week was 3, that would be Wednesday, I think. So then it would add 1 space plus these spaces multiplied by 3. These spaces multiplied by 3.
Okay.
And after that, for day in range of sorry, which line am I on?
No, don't worry. Just take your time. We're not in a hurry.
Yeah, so what it does here is that when the days are in from Sunday to Saturday, the string of dates is equal to so you add 1 space. So the string dates equals the string dates, and you add 1 space, and then it's also the string date, and after that you add 2 spaces.
Right. Okay.
And then it prints it into the file for the global. And then so when it's Sunday, it's gonna make it 1. So first it's 0, and after the 0 plus 1 is 1. And then over here, it's basically saying like it multiplies by 7 as the day. Let's just say it's week 1, and then it's like week number 1. So it starts at 0, and then it's 1. So let's just say it's week 1. After that, it's Tuesday. So you multiply the week by 7. So it's 7. After that, plus 2.
That's 9. So it's day 9. And then when it's bigger than 31, you want to stop because there's no month with 32 or larger days.
Okay.
And over here, so over here, so it's if month equals 0, so let's just say, so that's January. Then you then the end date, like the end of the day for January is 32 minus 1, which is 31. I don't understand why it's 32. It just seems to be 32. And then if it's February, then if the integer of the year, and then after that, if when you divide by 4, if its remainder is 0, then it should be a leap year. But year 2000, but also like year let's just say 2700 would not be a leap year because it's divisible by 100, except it's not divisible by 400. So
right.
And after that, if it's March, then the end date is 32 minus 1, which is 31.
So in February, it's either 28 or 29, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Since in your code everything is added up by 1, so instead of 28 or 29, it's going to be 29 or 30. I'm not sure why you have a 31 there, though. Because in my mind, if it's divisible by 4, then that is going to be a leap year, right? So that is going to be 30. That's right. And yeah.
Sorry.
Now it's much better.
So if the year, so okay, yeah, so it makes sense. So if it's when you divide by 400 when the remainder is 0, then it should be 29 days, right? So yeah, okay. And after that, all of the other months are like the same, like same idea. So if it's March, then it has 31 days. If it's April, then it should have 30 days. If it's May, then it should have 31 days. If it's June, then it has 30 days. If it's June, it has 30 days, and if it's July, it has 31 days. If it's August, it has 31 days, etc. So that's basically my goal.
All right. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Do we have another member that wants to present their work? They're all very nice. They're all amazing. So anybody? Well, I'm gonna wait till 8:15. So you have some time to think if you want to show your code. Or you can just run it and we can see the result. Come on, boys. There's quite a lot of us in the meeting right now, and I've only seen 4 people's work. How about the other 12-ish members? You guys are too shy? Come on, we've been together for what, like 6 months? No, 6 weeks? Like 12 hours already. That's half a day. Dude, come on. Well, the answer seems to be still a no. So I'll just explain how I did it. Well, first, the idea is still the same, right? Because I think I've heard from, well, let's not make that up high. From some of you that you were too busy or didn't get a chance to finish it. So let me just go over how the entire thought process goes like. So at first, well, we get the year, right? That's how everybody started off. First, you need to get the year. Then you try to get what day is January 1st, right? What day is January 1st? Because that tells you that where to start your week. Think about it. In a week, there are only a certain amount of days, and that is set to stone, except for leap years. There might be a small adjustment. But nonetheless, they're about to be as solid as it could ever be. So as long as you know the first day of your year, then you just can go through for the next 365 or 366 days, and then problem solved, right? This is actually the most crucial part. So most crucial. Well, many of you guys used a library to do that, and that's fine. I'm going to show you guys how to actually calculate for that in a minute. But before that, well, now we know that what day is January 1st, right? Now we need to do a thing. We need to loop through all or 365 or 366 days. Well, simply looping through that doesn't help, right? Because the month ends and it starts to be February 1st and in December, like March 1st and all the way to December, 31st. So loop through all days in the month, in the year. That doesn't work. So what's one next hierarchy under year? Well, this month. Well, if we just loop 12 months, will that work? Well, I think that will. So after you loop through the months, well, you gotta print out the month title, right? And what else you want to print out? You want to print the week titles. They're always set to stone. Some people decide to put Monday first and Sunday last, or some people decide to put Sunday first and Saturday last. That doesn't really matter that much, but that's what you should have under your month title. Well, while you're looping through, there's something else you can do. You want to, okay, here are two options. In the month, you have 30-ish days. Or you have a couple weeks. Well, some people decided to use the days directly, while the others, they decided to use just weeks. I remember seeing, I think it was Jonathan, where he looped through like 6 weeks and decided if it's if you're overreaching to like 30-second or something like that, then it'll break the loop. Well, that's definitely one approach to the problem. Well, the second one is to just simply use how many days there are. And well, I personally did the days because I thought it is much easier, and because there are many different variations to the problem when you come into dealing with weeks. For example, in the extreme case, when February have 28 days only, that might only be 4 weeks, and sometimes most of the time it's 5. And sometimes if you have Monday at the end of your week, then you might end up having 6 weeks. So to make things not too much that they will be wasted, or it'll be not enough to use, I just go with the days. But of course, you can choose weeks as well. And while you're looping through the days, well, you just go print day after day, and then print day after day until reach the end of the week. So you want to keep going, all right? Keep on going until you are, okay, I'm gonna make a U-turn and start right off the beginning. Or is the end of your month. And then you just keep looping through, then boom, problem solved. Well, of course, there are a couple more things like leap year. Decide if it's leap year or not. So these are about the most important, well, mindset or the thought process you might end up going through, or for the ones that haven't done it yet, is most likely what you're going to go through if you decided to give it a try. And enough of the talk, let's actually go through some code. Well, first, all right, here is one thing I want to mention. Why do I have the main class, main function, right at the very end? Why do I have that? Why do I not put it right off the top, like how you can do in other languages? Why? Why does the main function need to be at the very end? Well, it's because
I think it's all the defines have to be in front. Like you have to define the functions before you can call them in your main function.
That's right. Unlike Java or C++, Python, it goes through your code in a way that is from top to bottom. It doesn't jump through. Oh, is this, you want to explain this? Oh, that was, okay, 759, never mind. So in Python, everything goes from top to bottom, right? If I put my main loop or like my main function right at the beginning, well, let's just give that a try. If I do it like this, like what Jonathan just said, you won't see anything. Well, or the computer won't see anything. Or it even tells me right away that, okay, is variable you're using it before assignment. It doesn't jump through your code and see if it ever occurs afterwards because it's in the main function or it's in other functions. No, you have to put it in a way so whenever you use a function, and if it's using something from outside, and that external or the global variable or function have to occur before you try to use it. That's something that took me a while to get used to. So in my main function, I grabbed the year like how everybody else did it. And then I try to figure out, okay, what's my first day? That's where it's a bit more complicated. So in terms of getting the first day, many people end up using date time.date or like the built-in library. Well, that's a fast approach and it's good. But if you ever want to brainstorm a little bit or just burn some of your brain cells for fun, then you can look into that. How I end up doing it is I Googled, okay, what is the January 1st on, well, original year, so year zero, right after century, or like on century. Oh, that end up being Thursday 4. And because how I label the weeks are in this way. And this 4 means not the fourth item, but index 4. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, Thursday. And I try to calculate how many years are between my year and the given year and the original year. And it ended up being a value, and I minus that by 1, which is a magic number that it happened to work in this case. And I try to figure out, okay, how many leap years have I gone through? As we've seen before, that leap years are a little bit different. We all know that if it can be divided by 4, it's a leap year. That's not always the case. Because when you can divide it by 4, sometimes you can also be divided by 100. Well, if you can be divided by 100 and 4, then there's a chance of you being a non-leap year still. Well, unless if your year can be divided by 400 as well, which makes it a leap year. So that's exactly what I did here. I checked, okay, how many 4 years have I gone through? Then I checked how many 100 years have I gone through ever since the given year, the user input year and year 0. And how many 400 years have I gone through? After all that, I decided to find out, okay, yeah. I decided just to, add them up from the difference between my years and how many 4 years I have. Oh, and you may wonder why I have a minus 17 or minus 4 here. Well, as the magic number of 1752. That's where people started using leap year for the first time. Or you can say where people started to use leap year other than using just a 4-year period. Because before that, they don't have these much rules. As long as the year is divided by 4, then bam, that's good. They don't really care if it's also divided by 100, but not divided by 400, which makes it not leap year. Well, that was not the concern at the time. So I just subtracted those. And so this is the amount of different days. Okay, so because one leap year ends up in how many days, and I calculated that, which is always true. Okay, always true until 1752. So if I ever comes after 1752, so like 2020, for example, then I need to subtract the amount of 100 years that I have. So I try to subtract everything here, okay, everything that can be divided by 100. Then I add the amount of 400 years that was falsely eliminated before. And then I minus another 11 because of the years before 1752. When I try to do this subtraction and addition thing, I, well, cannot avoid that I added another 11 on top. So I'm just gonna try to get rid of them. And now, finally, at the end, I know how many days I've passed through, and I'm gonna add up to the original January 1st, which is 4, Thursday. And I try to just do a mod with the 7 to figure out how many, what was the remainder, right? So after all these loops of iterations, where am I? And there's just return the day. Oh, and I think it was Jonathan, right? You said you saw a Waterloo article about how to figure out. I also looked into that before, but I'm pretty sure he didn't include the year 1752 in there. I think he's only doing his equation only applies if it's after 1752. Just if you think like otherwise, or anybody else also saw that article, I think otherwise, please just send me an email, and I'd love to discuss it with you guys. Okay, back to the main function. After I get the first day, so where my year actually starts off from, I then want to decide, okay, is it a leap year? How do I decide? That's everything we just talked about. If it's a leap year, then I'm changing yeah, I can send you guys the code. Then I'm changing okay, I should explain these 3. These 3 are like the constants. You can think of them as final variables in Java. For this one, I just set to stone, hard coded how many days in the month there are. And here I have a list of all the month titles, easy for me to print them out. And then I have the week titles for the same purpose, easy for me to print them out. And also keep track of, how many weeks are there. Well, 7 we all know, but still nice to have. So if it's a leap year, I'm going to change my month to 29. Because, well, it's a leap year, right? Has 1 extra day in February. And then I have one last function, print calendar. Well, how does print calendar work? It turns out that print calendar just do everything I talk about here. I loop through the months. As you can see, well, first I print out a year, right? Then I loop through the month. I go through all 12 months. Well, the reason why I didn't simply go like something like month length, that has 12 items, or month title, that also has 12 items. Why I didn't do that? Well, it's because I want to use this month not only for the title or not only for the days in the month. I want to use it for both. So whenever you want to use a index number for more than one iterable items, so more than one list, then I highly recommend to just loop through them using range for simplicity. Instead of just you thought it might be easier if you just do month title or month length like that, but you gotta spend way more time trying to figure out what is what later on. And then inside each month, I print out the title, and I have some just empty spaces in front. Try to make them look nicer. After that, I print out all the weekdays, so my titles. And I have some spaces to make it look nice again. And then here you can see I print out many spaces in front. And that I only do it for once for every single month. That is for the beginning zeros, as we saw in others people's work, that January 1st or like any first day in the month does not, well, normally it doesn't happen on Monday, so you gotta put them later, to a later place. And after everything is set it up perfectly, we are going to try to print out our days. So we're going to loop through the 30-ish days. Oh, before that, I actually want to show you guys how this will look like. So this is what I wanted to look like. And okay, since I didn't print out, well, let's try this. Yeah. I want the first day of the month to be somewhere, right? Why are they all on Wednesday? Well, it's because the following code that I commented out. So I saw people that they try to figure out what is the day of the second month or the third month or the fourth month, and they end up doing this same function over and over again. Not certainly this one, maybe the beauty one, but there is actually a much easier way to do so. So when you try to loop through them, why did I use while instead of a for? Because I'm looping through all the days in the month, right? Oh, they're asking what is end. Okay. So in Python, every printout, okay, there's only one sort of printout, and that's print. However, print always give you a new line, but I don't want a new line in this case. For example, 53, you asked about this one. Well, in the range of first day, okay. My first day is essentially the index of what day I'm on. Remember this? Well, when my first day is 0, then that means my beginning, okay? My first. So January 1st, February 1st, or December 1st, they're on Sunday. If this is 1, then that means they're on Monday, okay? And the last one, okay, if it's on Saturday, it's 7. Oh, no, sorry, 6. So I try to loop through that. If it's 0, then I don't print anything. I don't even go in here. But if it's a 6, then it's going to go from 0, then all the way to 5, right? And that's 6 items. And I print spaces for 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's say January 1st is on Saturday. So my January 1st, well, lands here perfectly under Saturday instead of something here under Tuesday or under Wednesday. And I for sure do not want my spaces to be like, okay, here I have a couple of spaces for first line. Then I start a new line. I have a couple more spaces. I start a new line, couple more spaces for 6 times. No, I want them to be all together. And this is the easier way to do it. Is you just tells it to end with nothing. So essentially it doesn't start a new line. Because by default, if you don't have this, they have something like this. A backslash at the end, meaning line break. Alright, okay. But if I just set it to none or like an empty string, then it just doesn't do anything. Alright, so where was I? I was here. Well, I'll go back to this while later. But from here, I'm just looping through from 1 all the way to less or equal to the length of my month. So how many days I have? Well, I know that conventionally, people tend not to use the less and equal or the greater and equal. They only use less or just greater. And that's true, I do that. But this case, since it deals with dates, it makes much more sense if your number, your day, is exactly the day you're trying to dealing with, right? Is it first or is it 31st? We don't have a day that's generally 0. That's not a thing, or not a thing yet. And I saw in others' code, I think it was in Emil, right? I hope I pronounced your name correctly. I'm sorry if I did not. In your code, that all your days are like +1. So January you have 32 days. In February you have either 29 or 30 days, and that's because you started with um, 0. No, that's because even though you started with 1, you used only less than. So if I have a less than, then I need this +1, and that'll be, well, 32 or 31 or 29 to the least. But since I want them to look more natural, I just decided to use a equal sign. So just remember to be flexible about this kind of stuff. Well, code is dead, right? But humans, we are lively. We can be flexible sometimes. And since I already have the beginning zeros now, or the beginning spaces, now all I'm doing is just print out my day. And this looks a bit weird, the format thing. Well, string dot format is something that I normally don't use. People use it for printouts. They think it makes stuff cleaner, which I don't think so. But from here, you have a colon. That means you are having some parameters in the string. So normally the parameters exist only in functions, right? In the brackets. But here you have a parameter for your string, which is actually pretty sick. This 2D means I wanted to make only 2 places, okay? So I only want 2 digits in my following string. And D means, okay, instead of putting a string in here, I put a decimal number. Well, by decimal, not meaning it has a decimal place, but it's just like going up by 10. You know, it's not a binary, it's not a hexadecimal, it's a decimal number. And then I just put my day here. Well, I use format, so it knows, okay, this parameter is working for this value, which is my day. And why do I want that? Let's see. For example, here, I want to make everything look lined up, right? And in October, for example, October 1st and 8th, they only have a single digit. That's kind of hard to deal with because even though I have some spaces after each of my digits, it's really, 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 well, repetitive if I decided to have different ending zeros or spaces just because my digit is a single digit day. That is too repetitive. Instead, I make every single single digit number a 2-digit number. By doing this, it automatically put a empty space in front of my number. So everything looks lined up now and looks much prettier. And after that, I have a first day plus equal to 1. Well, you might wonder where first day come from. Okay, you might see this global. Okay, so that means it's defined outside. Where exactly? Well, it's here. I set my first day to whichever day that I started off with, right? And whenever I count a new day here, I want to increase the day, the index of remembering, okay, where you are. I want to increase that index by 1 because I'm past 1 day, right? So this basically tells if I'm at the end of my month, if I'm here on 30th, then my first day will be 2. It'll be Tuesday. And why is that important? Because when it comes to December, I don't have to calculate what is my beginning day again. I already know it's 2. It's on Tuesday. And all I need to do when it comes to a new month, when it comes to a new month, is to use that first day and print out the beginning zeros. And when it reaches 7, I reset it to 0 because the last index I'm having is 6. It's from 0 to 6. So if it's 7, then okay, it's too much, you're back to 0. Plus, when I know it's 7, I know, okay, it's the end of the week. So I print an empty line or just start a new line. Because before that, everything is ended with some spaces. It does not start a new line whatsoever. And here is where the 11 comes from. You might wonder, okay, why do we have an 11? I said it's because 1752, that's true. I check if it's in 1752 and my month is 8. Month 8, that means September. Why? Because that's again the index. And if day equals to 2, so if I've just finished, well, day 2. So if I've just finished September 2nd, then I want to add all my day. I want to shift everything by 11. And remember, this is not first day. So first day, it remembers which day in the week you are right now. It doesn't print that out. It remembers your position. And this day actually represents what day in the month is it. Is it 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 13th, 14th, or 31st? As by 11. We'll come back to these two lines just in 1 minute. And then I will add everything up by 1. So it's a new day now. I already incremented my first day, and in the end, I'm incrementing my day. So the day in the month. And if that reach the capacity of the month, so let's say if it's 32nd in 32 here for my day, and I'm in January, then that's just going to print 2 empty lines and start the next month. There are only 2 more questions left in this code. Why did I use this? And why did I use while instead of for? Let's come through the easier question first. Why is here plus 11? So, in the magic year of 1752, if I remember correctly, it was church. They decided to change the calendar somehow, and that taken place in September, right after September 2nd. And I was really surprised by this, but it's the truth that they skipped many days here. They skipped 12 days. Just went from Wednesday, September 2nd, all the way to Thursday, September 14th. Nothing happened in between. Probably the alien came over and just managed somehow to vanish the entire Earth for 12 days. Well, that's a possibility. But from all the resources I've seen and all the everything on Google you can find, that's what happened. And that's why I have a plus 11, because I'm always plusing 1 in the end. So 11, 1, it ends up being 12. So next time when I come in, next time in the day, well, I'm still in the right position. I'm still on Thursday. Right? That's why my first day doesn't need to change, right? The only thing to change is my day. So the day in the month. I just start printing 14 instead of 3. All good for me that they didn't actually cut the last day in the month. It's still 30th. So I don't have to change anything for the month length, like what I did for the leap year, for the February's in the leap year. And this is actually, I remember last time I asked you guys, there is a bonus, all right? The first bonus is printed out into a file, which shame on me that I didn't even do here myself. And the second one, which is the second bonus question is, can you print out any given calendar for after century? By that, I mean this, because if you decided to go into that, then you will find out the magic year of 1752. Well, some people may say, okay, why not go before century? I'm pretty sure that the idea of calendar only came up after century. I'm pretty sure only after century, that's where it came up. All right, so now comes back to our one last question. Why did I use while instead of a for loop? That's okay. It's still my initial goal is to remember I showed you guys the Java version of my code earlier last time. And when I try to rewrite the code, I want to do something similar, right? I just want to skip over for 11 days like this. Because initially, the day is going to count from 1 all the way to 30 for September, right? But I want to skip over 12 days. Which didn't work for for loops. And I'll explain why. Let's do a quick example. We don't need to go to 30 days. That's too much. Let's just do 10. And I want to skip over. Okay, this is what I want my printouts to look like. It's if I don't do anything, it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? But no, I want it to look like 0, 1, 2, then just 8, 9. Okay? So if I don't do anything, if I don't do anything, then it's going to look exactly like this, 0 all the way to 9, with no jumping whatsoever in between. But if I just say, okay, if my I is equal to 2, which is where we wanted to start jumping, right? If it equals 2, then I wanted to add by 5. Why? Because after 2 plus 5, that, okay, hopefully it gives me 7, which is my goal, right? Because it's going to add up 1 at the end of the loop by itself. So it's going to be 8, and it's going to end up like 0, 1, 2, 8, 9. Let's see. Oh, I'm actually going to print out my I here, so you guys see it. Oh, let's have a couple spaces in front. But although my plan worked for the first half, however, it went back to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It didn't really change. Some of you guys may say, okay, is it the same with the problem of not being global, so it didn't change? Oh, no, because global only happens when you are in different hierarchies, right? In this case, they're on the same hierarchy level, and they're not in a function. So global doesn't really apply in this scenario. Any of you guys want to make a guess why it didn't work? Why it didn't jump by 6 numbers? It's because when you use this range here, it returns a iterable object. Okay. In other languages, most of the time for loops look like this. So if I want to do the same thing as how I do for the range 10, then I'm going to do that's in Java. That's how I do it. Then here is my code. Notice how I assign a variable of I put it 0. Then as long as it's below 10, keep running my code, and every single time in the end, I add up by 1. That's what this line means. So if I do +2, so if I say, okay, if my I is 2 here, Then I want my I to add by 5. Well, if I want to just print out my eyes, and that's how to do it in Java. And this will give me 0, 1, 2, and after add up by 5, another 1 is 6, so give me 8, then 9. And which I tried to do in Python, it didn't work because it's range. Even though your I is still a integer, we can see its type. It's still an int. Which is the same. Well, right? They look the same, but this int means you're iterating through a iterable object. So think of it as you're iterating through a list that you don't even know the index, or you know the index, but you can't change which index you're looking at. It. The index just goes through from 0 to 9. It doesn't jump, doesn't shift. It's set to stone. That is set to iterate for 10 times, and it will not go anything below or anything above. So to solve that, I just manually decided to, okay, I just gonna mimic how Java works. I just have a number called I, and I started off with being 0, right? Then instead of 4, which in Python, all the for loops, you have to use this in, right? You can say for I in range, or you can say for I in a list, right? But nonetheless, they're all iterable objects. If you want to actually deal with some integers and you want to jump in between of your, well, in the middle of your loops, then you need this, and you just do a while, okay? Same thing here. Whatever number you have as a limit, you simply put it there, okay? In my case here, for the example, I want it to be less than 10. Then I just print out my number so you guys can see. And in the end, always do a plus equals to 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever intervals you decided that's best suited for your purpose. And then you can do the same thing. If I is equal to 2, then I just plus equals to, well, 5. Then this way, it's going to, since it's already an integer, it's going to jump through the middle couple 6 numbers from 5 to 7. No, sorry, from 3 to 7. That's essentially why I chose what I chose for this code, because I want to skip over the middle 12 days, like you guys saw. In the middle 12 days, there's a huge jump, and the only way for me to do that is to use a while loop, or you can use a for loop, and you just say, okay, if year equals 1752 and month equals to 8 and day equal to 3, or or day is greater than 2 and is lesser than 14, then you continue. Sure, that works too, I guess, but nah, I think this way is much more straightforward and simple. So That's what I decided to choose. And this is actually pretty, I think it's pretty useful, and you guys might want to look into that. I might choose to use this later on, because every once in a while you walk into a situation that you want to just jump some situations, jump some iterations in your loops. It can be a while loop, it can be a for loop. And remember, always use while in Python if you want to do that. In other languages like C++ or Java, you can just do a for loop and jump. Just use your temporary variable and plus how many iterations you want to jump on top of that. But for Python, always use while because of this. All right. And that's it. That's everything for my code. And some thought process. Everything for our entire class, actually. Anybody got any questions want to ask? It doesn't have to be relevant to today's class, or it can be anything you have the leftover questions from before, or any other things are in your mind about coding or something else. Also, you asked me to send the code. Do any of you guys know how to use GitHub?
What?
Do you guys know how to use GitHub? Yes? All right. I'll just post my code on GitHub.
No, wait, what is it? What is it called?
GitHub. So
Can you just Oh,
this.
GitHub. Okay. Yeah, I have it.
So I sent a link, right? This link. To you guys, and this is where I kept all the recordings in case you didn't get it from the emails.
Okay.
Here is a playlist. It has 6 videos in it right now. Those are all the 6 lessons we've went through. In the description, I have the link for the slides.
Okay.
So the slides corresponded to each lesson. I have them in there. You guys can go back and just go through whenever you want. This may sound like a YouTuber, but leave any comments right down below. Wow, this is so YouTube. If you have any just questions want to ask, or you can email me anytime, even our course is over.
If everyone here subscribes to his channel, he'll have more subscribers than me.
What is it like? Like subscribe and leave a like below, something like that. And for today's, since we all know that we don't have any slides for today's class, and I'm
rarely a cave sound. Minecraft cave sound.
what? And I'm just going to put the link to the GitHub repo down below. It's most likely only going to have this single file, and you guys can download it whenever you want. All right?
Where are you gonna post it?
on the GitHub. I'm gonna
Like-
have the repo link in the description for today's video. This
Okay.
sounds so YouTube to me, dude.
Mm.
That's crazy, dude. All right, that's everything.
You're sort of like talking about there's like these sponsors for YouTubers, and then they're supposed to like get 50% off or something in the description.
Yeah. Yeah. The link of the code will be in the description. Yes. I will either upload the video today or tomorrow. They will be added to this playlist. Just remember to check that, because it takes quite a while for me to upload stuff on YouTube if it's over 15 minutes. Like the Overwatch is pretty strict. All right. Any questions? If nothing, then I'm just going to end the meeting a bit earlier today. Yeah, no problem. Today will be the last class of our entire session, so there's no more Tuesday night, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. or 7:30 to 9:30 Python class. You guys have graduated. Hooray! You guys deserve a round of applause to yourself, actually. And today's work, the code you guys sent me and you showed me, they look really nice. I really love them. Keep on with the good work, boys. And yep. If nothing else, I'm just gonna end the meeting now.
Okay.
All right. Bye. Oh, dude, there are 2 new people that were trying to join. I didn't permit them. Okay, you guys can leave now. I'm just going to talk to the 2 new members that just joined. Walk them through what we did quickly.
I just send them all the links.
Yeah, and I'm just going to tell them what to do,
Okay.
how to get the code and stuff.
Are you ever doing this again?
You mean?
Like maybe next year or something?
Maybe.
Okay.
I'll be in, maybe next summer. Like, even when I'm not having this class, just any questions you can always ask me. Just send me an email. Although most of the time, it doesn't work for some reason. It's either me not getting your emails or you guys not getting my emails. But still. And now you have another way to reach me. YouTube videos. Are they joining? Or did they left? I
think they left because before there were like
yeah, right?
9 participants. Now there's only 7.
Yeah, okay. So the 2 new members just joined, they left. Wow, okay. Well,
Do you like have any their emails or something?
yeah, I will try to find everybody's email actually.
Okay,
Like,
I'll just put mine in the chat.
gotcha. All right. I will email everybody again tonight after I uploaded the last video of our entire playlist. So just go through that if you forget anything or have any questions. all the slides are there, all the codes are there, or only the last, only this code actually. Right.
Okay.
I'm going to end it now. Bye guys. Have a
Bye.
good school year. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Keep safe.
Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.